Good afternoon, Geoff from Mohoteladventures here this afternoon, and today I am in the sunshine for a change. It's Saturday, and just for a change it's not raining, it's actually sunny. So today I thought I'd just do a video on changing a wheel on a motorhome. So probably one of the most essential, important things to me is to have a wheel with you on your trip. At the end of the day, if you were heading to like Eurotunnel on a bit of a tight schedule or something like that, even if you've got plenty of time, all of a sudden you have a blowout, a puncture on the motorway, and you have not got a wheel. You could be waiting for a recovery company for a long time to come out and change your wheel. It could cost you, just in your ferry crossing alone, another rescheduled trip, blah, blah, blah. So I like to take a spare wheel with me on my motorhome, and I'll take some equipment to change that wheel, probably a little bit more heavy duty than a lot of people that take with their motorhome. So I'm going to go outside in a minute and show you the equipment I take and how I actually change the wheel. A lot of people, you know, if you've never changed a wheel, it might come in handy. You've got your first motorhome, you want to know about changing a wheel on a motorhome. So this is going to be worth a watch. And thank you. We'll proceed outside and get going. So the first thing to talk about is the safety aspect and making sure you've been seen on the road. It's the most important thing. So obviously you need to be taking a reflective triangle with you so you can get it up the road, even if you want to take two, whatever you want to do. To make sure then people just see you that are coming down the motorway while you're changing your wheel. The other thing is the high vis top to put on. In my little bundle here I have a waterproof but motorcycle bone dry, which at the end of the day you're trundling along in your motorhome and it's stair rodding it down the rain. All of a sudden you get a puncture and a problem outside, and you are in your shorts, in a t-shirt, whatever. I just find it so convenient to have something, a protective overall. You can get disposable overalls, but this is a motorcycle bone dry, so it's waterproof as well, so it's totally invaluable for me when we go in mountains in the snow and I want to stop somewhere and put on a pair of snow chains. That is just so invaluable because I can literally put it on. If it gets wet or whatever, I can just roll it back up again, just throw it in the stuff sack and back in the back of your motorhome. So there's a couple of little things that I use to start with, and obviously a pair of gloves so you can keep your hands clean when you're doing it, and just that sort of little protection when you're using the tools to do the job. Now then, the other little thing I've got here, I use, a lot of motorhomes come with a scissor jack, which previous motorhomes to this I had a Transit, and the scissor jack was pretty flimsy when it came to jacking up. It's fine for the front part of the motorhome for a Transit van, blah blah blah, but if you're carrying a lot of weight in your motorhome, loaded up, push bikes on the back, maybe a motorbike hanging off the back, it's going to have a lot of weight on it and you need to lift that weight up. So I've got here a nice little stumpy 10-ton jack that's absolutely perfect for the job. Then from there I have got a layout of tools here. The normal wheel brace you get is pretty flimsy, to be fair. There's the normal wheel brace, that one there, and they give you this little tiny bar, which these wheel nuts sometimes on these vehicles are pretty tight when they fit them from factory. The first time I tried to undo these, I'm like, my god, how tight are these? I think it's something like, I'm not going to go too far into torques and stuff, but I think the tightening torque for a Fiat Ducato is something like 160, 180 Newton meters. I've got a nice big bar, that length, so a nice big breaker bar with a socket, an impact socket on it, which fits on the nuts superbly, so there's no problem whatsoever there. The other thing I'm going to come to is if you've got a totally flat tyre on your motorhome, sometimes the motorhome is so low to the ground that basically it's trying to get a jack under it. So here's my, I used to take these Fiamme ramps. They're my original ones that I used to use. I still use them at home occasionally, just for like getting it level at home if I want to. So they're my sort of rough set. But now I've got these Malenko ones that are beautifully shaped all the way down, plenty of grip. So if you've got a totally flat tyre on your motorhome, you can get under it and drive up to give you height on that underneath jacking point, which then you can get your jack under and fire the jack up in the air and get your wheel off the ground to change it. I'm actually underneath my motorhome now, and I'm just going to show you my spare wheel. I've got a spare wheel. I'm not going to let it down today, to be honest, because I've got a load of things to do today. I need to really crack on. But my spare wheel is located underneath the motorhome. I've installed a crane. There's the winch for it. There's a bar that pokes out the side, so you can literally winch it down and get it on the ground. It looks a bit rough under here because my wheel, what I've done, I've encased it in plastic, and we've done a few thousand miles with this underneath here with it wrapped up, so that's why it's looking a bit ragged underneath. But the name of the game here, the idea that I think is a really good idea, because I hate, because obviously this catches all the road dirt underneath your motorhome. So if you're in the rain, in the dirt, whatever, and you want to get this wheel down and you don't want dirty hands to get back in your motorhome and stuff, so I can just literally drop this down on the ground, and then I'm not worried about the packaging. I can literally just rip it off, and underneath here I've got a brand spanking new wheel, brand new tyre, so which is going to be absolutely immaculately clean. So I can just then another little tip that I use, I've got an old mat, so what I do is I'll put the mat under there, because sometimes if you let it down onto a surface and it's pretty grippy, the tyre touches the tyre mat to start with, so it can be a bit grippy to pull out underneath your motorhome. So I tend to let it down on something like this kind of mat here, so you can let it down and then you can just pull it out. It's, you know, these mats are literally, you know, a couple of quid in the supermarket, so it's not all the world. And you know, basically we're talking, if you can change this wheel on your own to save the time, you go on your holiday, you know, I can probably turn around a change wheel in 15-20 minutes and we're back on the road, so it's not going to interfere with that enjoyment time. You're back happy, you've changed. Obviously you're going to have a flat tire to sort out at a later date, but it's not going to spoil your trip, so as long as you've got your wheel with you. And so here we go, then we're going to then commence changing the wheel. Yeah, if the tyre was kind of flat, it would literally creep up the ramp probably a lot easier than it did then. I got a little bit, I'm on like a paved surface here, so the front wheels span a little bit, but I've just put the other chock in front there just for kind of safety. It's not going to go anywhere because the other handbrake on the other wheel is holding it pretty steady. It's not a problem, but I've just tucked the other Malenko chock as a bit of a wheel chock under the front wheel. Again, using the little mat to kneel on and coming in. I've got on this motorhome, because the next stage is actually to crack off the wheel nuts before we go any further. I don't want to go jacking it up yet because the wheel will just try and turn. So I know that the part brake is holding the wheel, but literally I've got this little thing that clips under, because I've got these little wheel caps on here, which is great because they protect the little nut protectors that protect your nuts from the weather. So then underneath you've got your nuts still in pristine condition. Another one there. It just still. Oop. Hang on a minute. Cut. So there we have it. All the wheel nut covers off, and then I select my bar. So that is a nice big socket on there, big bar, plenty of leverage, and ready to crack them off. Here we go. Right, okay, just another little note. I've had these tyres for a while now. These are my sort of rough winter tyres, and there's new legislation now as regards on MOTs, as the date has got to be less than 10 years old. So these are 15, year 15, so believe it or not, these are 6 years old now. They were made on the 43rd week of the year 15. So you've got that little code that identifies your date of manufacture. So these potentially have got another 4 years, and we'll be looking to change these tyres. It's a shame because they're still pristine. We've done a fair few miles on them, and I feel like gutted. But obviously, as time goes on, the sidewalls can split, and basically it's a bit of a shame for the tread depth. But basically, for your own good, if you do get that scenario where you get the blowout, it's never worth it. So let's get the jack under. Here we are under the vehicle now, and I normally carry a piece of nice bit of timber. This is like a pretty thick decking board, so this is like perfect for any kind of surface. If you're on a bit of a softer surface, it just spreads a load a bit for the jack, and so the jack sits nice right under the axle. And then I've got my long bar, which I've just got to make sure, let's just lock up this. Yep, he's locked up, so he's ready to jack up. In with the bar. It's a little bit teasy under here. I'm just going to pull that down, because you can just sort of start taking the weight a little bit like that. Just taking weight. There's the jack right under the axle, nice and square. Right, we'll get that bar in the slot there and start jacking away. Back to my little winch, my crane. I'm just going to just have a little breather. I was just looking at it then. There's my little wheel winch that you put the bar in across there. Now I actually fitted this, so you buy the kit from Fiat, and it's crazy that because this motorhome does not come with a spare wheel. You actually need to sort out your own spare wheel and stuff. They give you that a sealer stuff that but if you've got a sidewall blown right out on your tyre, it is absolutely no use whatsoever. So I actually installed this winch that I bought from Fiat. I think it was about 80 quid for the whole kit, and basically I've got some stainless steel nuts for the installation to try and make them last. I've just noticed there actually the original nut bolts that actually come with that winch are getting a bit rusty. I need to get some grease on them, but I use stainless steel nuts and bolts for the whole installation, so it doesn't corrode too bad. Not that you have to move it again once it's on the motorhome. Actually, right, there's me talking, and my motorhome wheel is now fully off that ramp. Just move back outside again now. So outside, and it's totally away from there, so he's up in the air. So now I'm going to get back to the important bit and actually changing the wheel, so you can put that on. Exciting stuff. Changing your wheel on your motorhome, and basically this can save you an absolute fortune. I know so many horror stories where people have had tyre problems abroad, and they just like, oh my god, that's 500 euros, that's 600. It's just crazy prices they make up some days. So it's a lot of drinks on holiday. On this is my winter wheels, because it won't be long and I'll be putting my alleys back on, which they're tucked away in my garage at the moment, keeping nice and clean, no corrosion. But so yeah, I've got these ones, fitted these tyres on, and put these little, you don't need, I fitted them on originally, and then I need some trims because it looks so horrendous. But so I've got the Fiat little infill that sits on, which makes it a little bit tidier. So there's the wheel. And then wheel out at the bottom. Wheels off. Easy. There are little locator dowels on the hub that sit in these locator positions on the wheel. So what I'll do now, I'm not, like I say, I'm not changing this wheel, I'm just, this is purely for a demonstration. I'm going to just going to lift that wheel back up onto the hub now, tuck some of the body of the motor, a little bit easy, up onto them pins, 1 pin, 2 pin, the locator pins, so the wheel's going back on, and in with your bolt. Yeah, so I was only thinking the other day, obviously there's me tearing around Europe with all the equipment to change wheels and stuff, and thinking a lot of the time I'm on Instagram so people can see where I'm to, and if everybody like knows how to change a wheel and has got equipment with them, maybe we could help each other out, you know. So if someone's, you can, I've got problems somewhere and you need a hand or whatever, it would be awesome. I've done quite a few jobs actually on the road, mainly for caravans where people have not got the right length wheel brace, blah blah blah, and can't undo the nuts, trouble jacking it up, same old story. But yeah, just if you're ever abroad, check out my Instagram and see where I'm to, because we'll be more than happy to change your wheel and enjoy a nice cold case of Kronenberg. So there we are. So in a minute now I'm going to let this jack back down and re-torque the wheel nuts when it's down on the ground. I don't need that ramp anymore, to be honest. I'm just going to let it right down on the surface now, and then just basically re-torque. What I actually did was I let it back down on the ramp. I've taken the jack out now, the jack's back out, a couple of seconds, but I whizzed that ramp back in because obviously my jack will only go down a certain amount, so I needed to get back to where my where I originally put it, set it up underneath. So I let it just back down on that ramp, and then handbrake's on, so I can literally just put them on. And this is back again to your manual wheel nut torque. Like I say earlier on, I think it's about 160, 180 Newton meters, but I tend to just use this bar. I know that, I mean, it's about 180 Newton meters, And because I love doing this so much, I might even put that back on. So I'm going to take these wheel nuts off again and put that back on. So I'll leave it there for a minute. I'll just, while I rewind, so that's yapping too much to the camera, but I do like my little trim, so that's going to chuck that back on a minute. So we'll have a little breather. Yeah, so basically there's a big hole in there, so I've just undone the 4 and left that one undone up, so that goes on there like that, and then back in with your studs. With the conventional Fiat wheel, the aluminium wheels that most people have got on their motorhomes, there's no trim to worry about. So there we go. We'll just slide them up like that. Back on with the little caps, just giving that little bit of protection. And basically what I would do here is I'll carry on my journey, and probably after a couple of 100 miles I would just literally flip these off again, get your bar out and just give them a recheck. Just better to be on the safe side. Not that they're going to go anywhere, from my experience that's not going to go anywhere now. So you're back square one, got your wheel on, and happy days. I've been making a video, so it's probably been taking me probably half an hour or so peeing around with a camera and stuff. But I hope that has like helped for anybody thinking about changing a wheel. Right, I'm going to leave it there for a second, and I'm going to try and do a little bit of extra video later on. I've got a few things to do this afternoon, so I want to try and crack on a bit. But I'm going to try and do a little update on my drone life. Is that what you call it? Drone life, yeah. A little update on my drone. Tell you I've been getting on with it. So we're going to leave it there for the spare wheel, and hope you know, if anybody wants any answers to any questions, equipment, whatever, just hope that's a bit of an insight of how easy it is to do. I'm going to move that front chock, run it off this one, back down on the ground, and away we go. But these are really handy, these Malenkos. Just get the camera down there. So like I say, if you just need that extra bit of space underneath to get your jack in, because some of these scissor jacks that you get with these motorhomes are so flimsy, it's just something to bear in mind. Okay, take it easy, I'll catch you later.